Hello friends and welcome back for episode 73 of our Terraria Let's Play. This is version 1.2.4.1, and that is a lot of numbers that have got to get out the way at the very beginning of a new episode. Thank you so much for joining me again. It's been such a long time since we shared a computer monitor in just such a context. I have a lot in store for you again with this series. It has never actually been put away or gone. It's just been forever delayed for whatever stupid reason. There's been 100 little silly things that have kept me from joining back in on the fun of Terraria, but you know, it's been too long. I just couldn't put it off any longer. The joy must be experienced again. So we're here in our house, as we often start most episodes, and I've got a few pretty cool and exciting things to share with you. First thing you've probably noticed, I might sound a little different. The volume balance of this episode might sound a little different. That's because I'm using my new mic. I have a blue, I almost said Yeti. It's not a Yeti, it's a Nessie. Fantastic USB mic, probably the best purchase that I've made in my career on YouTube, and I definitely recommend it highly. And I think it comes out sounding a lot better, and it also didn't have that horrible sound issue that was plaguing all of my prior episodes. So the sound balance might be a little bit more present now. And also, well, it means that I've had to do a little bit of adjusting for my recording, so now I actually have a big old pillow under my keyboard so you don't hear the click-clacking of my keyboard as much as I move around, although you might still hear it a little bit. Hopefully it's not too intrusive, and if it is, I'll do my best to try and adjust that out. Other thing, as I was getting the volume levels and getting my balance set properly, or at least as good as I could make it, really funny thing happened. I happened to bounce my way down into hell, as I often do in my Terraria world, and I freaking killed one demon. And look what dropped. The fire feather, the freaking item I've been after for the last, like, 50 episodes, just shows up, and it wasn't even on camera, and I feel like a big old jerk, because now I have this item, and I'm going to craft the fire wings out of it, but I don't have the ability to show you the very anticlimactic scene where I basically just shot him with pine needles, keeled over dead, and fire feather dropped, just like that. So this is a brand new update to the game, as well as this being a rejuvenation of the series. Big thing about this one is going to be the emphasis on crafting fishing items, I suppose, as well as fishing itself. So we're going to do our best to go discover a new NPC that will lead to a whole bunch of new elements to the game, as well as perhaps find a fishing pole and maybe get started on some of that stuff. We've got to get him a room, though, to move into our house, so I got to make sure that I have... Oh, I do have plenty of rooms. Never mind, I thought I needed to maybe build a little bit more, but I don't. So I also want to maybe craft this fire feather right now, since that seems to be a thing. Let's go drag him onto our NPC named Marty today and see what he has to say about the whole thing. So we need 20 souls of flight and our fire feather. Well, we've got plenty of those to go around. So why don't I go get some souls of flight, see if I can remember where all my stuff is. It's been a while, like I said. So we're just going to grab a bunch of those out of there. And where do we craft wings again? Can it be done right from here? Table, anvil, one of these types of things. You'll have to bear with me, unfortunately. I'm a little rusty again. There we go. Fire wings are now a thing. And I want to just see if they look pretty cool on my characters. I have a feeling they probably will. They're definitely not going to be the preferential choice, but yeah, that's pretty sweet. It's been a long time that I've waited to finally get access to this. So, you know, it's going to be neat. Sometimes I can play with cosmetics. In fact, that's what I could do right now if I really wanted to. Could have that be on my social slot, and then we'll just keep our... Wait, did I have it backward? I want it like that. Wait, I want it to look like... Yeah. I think that's what I was after. But, you know, it doesn't really go that well with this armor, unfortunately. The other one just fits so much better. And also the fact that it's bright colored like that, it just totally makes your Spectre armor totally, like, see-through and stuff. And that's no fun. So I guess there really isn't a whole lot of use for this particular set of wings right now. Let's go drop them off in our chest, where they will languish away in agony, unseen and unused. How sad. So basically what we're going to do right off the bat here, and I know this has been 5 minutes of me standing in my house and talking, this is bound to happen on occasion. We're going to go visit a beach and see if perhaps we can go discover our angler friend, who is the NPC that we're going to use for all of the instances of fishing quests. And this particular NPC happens to work rather differently in that he doesn't sell you anything, as far as I know. Also, that was a crazy badass looking effect that just happened when I killed that. I have noticed a couple of new-looking effects. There's some particle things that were a little bit different in the teleporters, but that's the first time I've seen that particular effect. Also, I should probably summon my crow friend so I can have somebody to accompany me to the wall. That's a Game of Thrones joke. My apologies. We'll put that back. I don't really need any of this stuff, but yeah, we'll just use our hammer as our main weapon again. Really can't do too much better than the hammer for now. We'll see if maybe there are some items that we might run into that might actually help out our gameplay still. Since there's been a ton of new stuff added, and I don't mean to not harp on that point enough, because the patch 1.2.4 that happened in mid-May added like hundreds more new items, freaking mounts, a new boss, like I mentioned, that we're going to eventually fight, and a whole bunch of other stuff too, which I am not going to detail right now, but maybe next episode, if you guys are interested, I could go down the list and we could break down exactly what the changes were. I just figured since we've been gone for so long, probably don't want to start up, you know, rejuvenating your experience on the Terraria Let's Play with, hey, let's talk about stats and things like that. That's kind of boring, probably, right? Look at that, one-shot everybody. There's also been some rebalancing again, I believe, which I haven't gotten into the nitty-gritty of what exactly that's going to mean for our character, but maybe there are other more viable options for us now that I haven't quite addressed yet in other episodes. I also was working on getting more emblems for a while. I may have been doing that off camera, I can't actually remember. But I know that that was one of the few things that I needed to really do, is if I wanted to like maximize or to min-max my experience in Terraria, was I needed to conjoin a bunch more of those emblems to maybe form whatever the proper, what was it, the one that I have down here, the Destroyer emblem or the Avenger, and one of these things. I needed to make like 5 of those, so I could just max out all of my stats having the most possible stuff, but I haven't come up with enough yet. But anyway, I was farming a few of those, and that should be hopefully something to look forward to, that maybe if I care enough to, I might figure out how to deal with all of that. Pardon that it's super, super dark here. I should probably put on a torch. Man, it's weird getting back into the swing of things. It's going to be a while before I don't feel so rusty again. But that's okay. I think that's part of the cycle that's sort of been a big part of the way Terraria has worked for ages. Oh, also, I forgot to mention, I think they completely removed or greatly lengthened the amount of wire that you can post. So if I wanted to now, I could actually go about dragging a teleporter all the way out to the desert here, so that way this last little journey that we've had to make wasn't really that necessary. But that's also going to take a long time and a lot of work, and that was one of the reasons that I had become a little bit of a slacker with regard to the series anyways, mostly because it's been so long doing this work outside of the actual series, where I was just kind of toiling away, sorting out silly things that may or may not actually bring a huge amount of change to the series anyway. That's one of those things that I think probably would bring a lot of change to the series, considering, well, I'd be able to teleport across the map in both directions, most likely. So why did we come all the way over to the ocean? The question remains in the air. We were looking for this angler, who I'm told can either be found sleeping on the beach, or perhaps could even be found underneath the ocean. And right now, it's real hard to tell what's going on here. There's a sign, it looked like, under the ground there. Crabs are going to get wrecked by the crow. What is that? Oh, I got purple mucus. Okay, I guess some kind of enemy died there. And it doesn't look like we've got our angler on this side of the map, unless he happens to show up somewhere else that I wasn't quite aware of. So I don't think he's going to be over here. Let's go. Do I not have a magic mirror? Yes, I do. That was a little silly of me. So let's go back to home base, and then we can take our teleporter over to the right. Also, I could get rid of this, like, mediocre, medium area, like, both of these, actually. I could just connect these all the way over, I think, and not have to worry about that journey, so we could go a little bit more straight from one side to the other of the map. Oh, I forgot I have a wisp in a bottle. Why haven't I summoned that? Okay, now we have multiple summon friends that we can hang out with, as well as a couple of items here that I might be concerned with. Well, the pixie dust is not really anything. Put that back here. Inventory management for the win. Actually, wait. I guess I don't really need that anymore either. Okay, cool. We're good. Alright, so now that we've got a few sources of light, why don't we head up to the surface and see if we can maybe make our way over. What is that horrible monstrosity? Have I not seen that, really? Some kind of giant flying bat, I suppose. So we're going to make our way over to the right and see if there's still something new to discover over on the beach. Also should apologize, I'm in the middle of, like, bad allergy times. This is around the worst of it for me, usually right after or before my birthday, early June is when I have the most trouble with my sinuses getting really badly congested. So I sound a little bit stuffier than normal probably in this, which is probably greatly exacerbated by the fact that you can now hear me a little bit more clearly thanks to the new mic. I forgot we had a pyramid on this. I'm also remapping this area too, because as you might remember, for whatever reason, an update just like deleted the map, so now I have to go back and sort all of that business out again. Oh, look, I've made a little triangle from jumping around in circles. Alright, good enough. Thankfully, we have all the gear we really need to make a journey across this map fairly quick, so we're just going to head over to the beach, and I'm really hoping that our angler friend will be waiting for us over here, and then we can get on with things. But it's nice to have a little bit of downtime here to chat and get caught up on stuff. Oh, we're actually here already, and I don't see any anglers. Okay, that's probably bad. Let's see if we can get our... Oh, we got sharks. Well, that's not too concerning, actually, at the present juncture. Where else can the angler be, if not on either of these beaches? I really hope I don't have to, like, regenerate my world for the angler to show up. If that's the case, we could be in a bit of trouble here. Looking around. More crabs again. No dudes, though. Okay, well, that's a bit of a problem, isn't it? I was really hoping to maybe get the angler, get a fishing pole, and then start our journey toward whatever a quest might be, and then see if maybe we could turn that into a fuzzy carrot pretty quickly, because that would be probably the first mount that I would be able to get, as far as I'm aware anyway. And I would like to definitely collect all of those. And there's a ton of things we can fish up for as well, too. Why did I just summon him? I didn't really need him very badly. But yeah, there's a ton of different fish that we can get. All of them have different properties. Many of them can be turned into potions of various kinds. And then there's a whole hierarchy and progression of fishing poles that we can use. So the fact that there's now all of this business to worry about means that there's going to be lots and lots of new stuff to discover and lots of new content, as well as, like I mentioned, that boss. And we're also getting prepped for the new lunar update, which shouldn't be too far off at this point, I'm thinking, which is going to be... I'm hesitant to say this, but, like, the final big update at this point, considering they've already said that, 5 or 6 times, and then consider to add major new episodes of content to the thing. I don't know if episodes is the right word, but new chunks of content to the base game, and, including this fishing element, which I didn't think would be a thing that they would add so late in the game's development. But I'm happy for it, any more content we can add is all welcome to me. I mean, I've been thinking, like, maybe I should go return to Starbound and play some more of that at some point, but as much as it pains me to say, I feel like this is still going to be the more enjoyable of the two, at least personally. And I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with Starbound, and I still will spend some time with it, but it just felt so far away from being done a while back. Oh, are these tiny frogs that I can use for bait? No. Okay, well, if I can use them for bait, I don't know how to get them for bait. Somebody told me that also walking along the ground after it was rainy, or like in the morning or something, might be a good way to get worms. That sounded weird out of context. But yeah, worms are basically what you would want if you wanted to go ahead and, stick something on the end of the fishing pole there that you could use to catch some fish. And that is a concern. Also, apparently, the fishing pole will, at times, the line will snap on it, so that's another thing we've got to get sorted out. And apparently there's a goal that eventually you'll get unbreakable fishing line, which is also a pretty cool thing. Anything that can make systems of the game be, like, permanent or, not really a thing you need maintenance for, I'm kind of all for that whole business. So, the streamlining of things is fantastic. And getting back almost to my arena area, I think. And I'm not really feeling the urge to fight a lot of enemies in the arena right now, because I feel like most of that stuff has been sorted. Although I will probably have to do a few new maps at some point to go back and visit the temples, because there's actually... apparently they changed the way that the power sources drop, or whatever those things are, so I'll probably need to farm those for a while, because they're more common now. And I don't need to get them from chests, apparently. They'll drop from the regular guys, so that kind of makes a pretty big difference in how we approach all of that. Anyway, now we've sorted out the map. I think that is all keep using the tab map instead of that. So there, we've got the whole surface of the world again. But we don't have any of the internal stuff, which is sad, because there's a lot of it. There is a ton, actually. So where is our fisherman? That is what I need to know. As I look around here, I'm thinking, well, all the places that I would think he'd be belonging to are beaches and things, and there aren't a whole lot of beaches at this point. In fact, maybe that's partially the problem why he hasn't spawned, is just because maybe there isn't sufficient beach that isn't water. But I was told also that he should be able to spawn on top of water, too, so I don't know. What could I do about that if that was the case that he needed beach? Maybe I should drag a bunch of sand and place it somewhere? I don't know, man. What else can I even do in this moment that I have? I could go recap some of my inventory items just to see where I still left off on that, because I actually don't remember what I had for emblems anymore. Oh, okay, so I had tons of ranger emblems. I have 4 of those, but I haven't caught a whole lot of the other ones at this point, so I need to farm more of those guys up. I also need to obviously do whatever I can to try and maximize my chances of getting more power to be able to take down the Mecha Santas and all of that stuff, the winter boss rush mode, which apparently is still the hardest thing there is to this date. I'm not sure actually how hard the fishing boss is. I'm gonna guess, though, just due to the nature that it's in water, it's probably annoying, but it's probably not unbeatable or anything like that. And I'm sort of looking through here to see what my items were as far as cosmetics. Got lots of wings. There's more wings to get. There's actually some kind of scale wings that I can get from fishing now, which is pretty exciting. Just opened up the same chest twice. I was also on my way to collecting all of the various pickaxes and things, so that's exciting. And then I've got empty chests there, so that's another thing to look forward to, filling up even more chests, many of which will probably be filled with fish. And I'll have to hang some sort of Febreze packet off you don't really have packets of Febreze. They come in bottles, but maybe there's some sort of air freshener that I could get. I know I've mentioned this a few times, but I take great pains to color code most of these items to the best of my ability, so it's frustrating when they don't fall into line and there's too many strangely colored ones. All of these are the various magic wands and staves, whatevers. We've got swords galore, the sweet death sickle. We've got our zealous flower pow. That's a weird name. And, of course, all of our guns, and, of course, our banana rang, which could probably use some more usage. Stake launcher, that was from the Halloween stuff, I believe. Ice bow. Alright, so I'm thinking there's not a whole lot else to do at the moment other than figure out why the fisherman didn't show up and figure out how to get him to show up, because that's kind of the thrust of where the majority of the stuff that I'm excited to see is going to lie, is all just in finding that guy. So you guys can let me know in the comments where I should go from here, what is my next move to try and get to more of this content if my fisherman did not spawn. It's also the chance that maybe he just takes a few days to even show up. And if that's the case, then, well, my apologies, I probably jumped the gun a little bit on that. I haven't spent much time at all in my world, other than just the little bit of time it took for me to get my levels and test out things. And hopefully you guys found the new sound levels to be sufficient. It should be more in line with, like, the vast majority of the other things that you listen to on YouTube now. Instead of having to turn up your volume a whole bunch, you should be pretty much good to go with me and my Terraria from now on. And I will be, of course, adjusting things if still need be, so feel free to let me know on that front, too. I guess we'll just, we'll hunt wyverns for a little bit as we go out here. So, it's been good. I'm glad to come back. I really want to continue playing a lot more Terraria. I had no desire to abandon it in the first place, like I said. I just got distracted by too many other things. And I think now might be the time where there's been enough break, and I think we've maybe had plenty of opportunities to now get back in the realm of, you know, the Terraria mind state as we start to head toward more updates and more general content to discover. So I want to go through all that stuff with you guys. We'll still continue our expedition toward maybe 100%ing the game, trying to collect every single item that there is to collect. That's been my desire the whole time, and I've never wavered on that premise. It's just, it's a lot of work, to be perfectly honest. There is a lot to do in this game, and I don't think anyone would bother understating that, because my goodness, have you seen how much work's already gone into it? I was doing streaming sessions of grinding for like 5 hours just to get the keys and things, so I kind of hope that there's still more time for more of that type of thing to get added to the game. I actually really find those things very gratifying when they add various grinding things that take a lot of work. I find that's very rewarding after you've done it, even though it can be frustrating at the time. I have no problem putting in the time to get rewards like that. And I guess the testament to that is how it can go really exciting sometimes and really anticlimactic other times. I got that fire feather, and it was like, couldn't have been more anticlimactic. Nobody even knew it was going to happen. It just showed up arbitrarily. Maybe they increased the drop rate on that sucker too. It's quite possible. And if they did, well, I wish I knew that beforehand. But, you know, sometimes things just happen when you don't expect them. Anyway, I think that's going to be it for today's episode. Please do chime in. Let me know what you think about the Return of the Terraria series, where you'd like me to go, what you think I should do next, what I did wrong to not get the results I was looking forward to, and what I could do to correct that, if anything. And I will be, of course, going through the patch changes and updates, probably on the next, if not the one after that, episode. And we'll see if we can maybe get these back to being at least a couple of times a week, interspersed with various Watchdog silliness and other series, like maybe we'll get my vlog up again. I haven't done one of those in like a little over a week now, so actually it's been closer to 2, hasn't it? So anyway, thank you as always for watching. Please consider leaving a like if you enjoyed the video, and I will be back with another one real soon. So thank you, and have a great night. Talk to you later.